Life. Precious and rare in a God's forsaken land. She drinks the last of her reserves and examines her prize. This moment of rest is welcome, though she can't afford to linger. The tribe awaits.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sandy.
And I'm John, and we've got a special project that's been a while in the making.
For New Year's, we held our first Discord event. We basically just got together and played some games and hung out, had a safe holiday.
Had some drinks, countdown to midnight, that sort of thing.
And we did a giveaway. Or did a bunch of giveaways, actually. The final giveaway was an Artist Choice outfit from me.
Yeah, what does that mean exactly?
That means that I get to choose what I make. And it could have been anything. It was just like, you're getting an outfit from me. It's whatever I basically feel motivated to make at the time.
Now, knowing Sandee, whatever it was gonna be over the top in some way.
Because that's me.
And I have to say, you really outdid yourself. That doesn't sound exactly right, considering we just did a big Barbie collab. Sandee made a huge dress. This was done actually just before that, and we've been waiting to put it out.
For me, it's rather restrained, but there are a lot of really cool techniques involved.
Did you just make literally whatever you wanted?
No, I didn't want the person who's receiving this to be disappointed. I basically went and said, okay, what colors are deal breakers? What don't you want? So I got some details. I got some info on the dolls. They have a few. There was one character that was a desert traveler with witchy vibes.
Oh, okay.
I started off with one concept that I was going to do, and then got some materials that I was really inspired by and sort of totally changed what I was doing.
All right, well, let's take a look at the process.
I started with a base for the top using the bodice of an A-line dress pattern from Requiem Arts. I used natural denim to give it some structure. To make my own texture, I arranged these beautiful ribbons made of fair trade sari scraps, which I bought from VictorianGypsyGirl on Etsy. The orange fabric underneath will actually be used for the pants, so I'm making sure my top will coordinate with it. I hand-stitched everything down and used a variety of embroidery thread and yarns to add even more color and texture. After this, I'll bead and line the piece, as well as add closures to the back. For the pants, I used the wide leg pants pattern from My Little Doll Story on Etsy. After cutting and serging the edges, I folded and pinned the pleats. Next, I basted the pleats so they stayed together while I sewed. It's more accurate than using pins. I always have to remind myself that pressing makes a big difference in the quality of my sewing. I pressed my pleats and machine stitched them down. I based my darts with a ladder stitch using markings I made on the right side of the fabric. On the wrong side, I machine stitch along the basting stitches. This may seem backwards, but it makes the darts more accurate, and I can mark the darts and pleats on the same side at the same time. And time for more pressing matters. After that, I just stitched the crotch seam and the leg seams. For the waistband, I used a folded rectangle of fabric to conceal the raw edges of the waist. To finish the pants, I added a metal and leather closure, decorative chains, and threaded more ribbons through the openwork of the fabric. With the pants complete, Healer was ready for her journey.
If you'd like to see more of my creative process, give this video a thumbs up. That will help it spread to more people.
And if you want to support the channel even more, you can give us a super thanks, which is YouTube's brand new feature that lets you donate money directly on uploaded content. Every dollar that you donate helps us improve the channel. We are currently buying a 3D printer thanks to all of the generous donations from our community, and we can't wait to make lots of little props for our stories, and I'm pretty sure Sandee wants me to make shoes as soon as we get one. Shoes.
She looks so good in this outfit.
You did such a good job. I love the character of this outfit.
I like the textures. Like, as I was working with it, I just was like, oh my god, I'm loving this. I'm loving the sparkle. I'm loving all the texture that came out.
Yep.
There's a lot of special things about this outfit. The shoes were a first attempt at shoes. They are actually layers of actual leather sandwiched, and then used some thick cream-colored denim to protect the feet from the hand-dyed Sari scraps.
Which, quite honestly, looks really good. It's a really nice touch. The textures, the roughness of these looks great.
Yeah, I really actually kind of like played into the roughness of it because I felt like the more I made it look perfect, the less it worked.
Yeah.
And started to look more like, you know, something out of Aladdin or something like that. And that wasn't what I was looking for. Let me talk about the pants for a minute. I started off with a pattern from My Little Doll Story. That is a high-waisted, wide-leg pant. I contemplated just making them short, but I really liked the way they started to fall when I started to bunch them up. And the fabric already has this sort of lace weave through it. So I didn't really have to do a lot to the fabric in order to take the Italian ribbon and thread it all the way up through and then draw the pant up. Sort of the way I do bustle skirts and things like that when I want to do pickups. So basically the pants are picked up in a similar way. I added some little charms at the bottom to kind of finish off the edge of the pant. These are sewn in, they do not have to be pulled out, and the pants should go on and off fairly easily. The fabric is kind of special to John and I sort of filled Kit Kumi in that there was sort of I'm exaggerating, but there's like an almost like relic level element to these pants. And
Okay.
what it is that this fabric was used in the production of Midsummer Night's Dream that I directed and John starred in upstate New York. And it was part of the costume of a man named Andrew, who was an Anglican priest who worked mostly with like hospice level patients. And he passed away fairly recently. And taking out this fabric and using it, it's like I'm passing on a piece of the theater magic and this wonderful friend that we had who was just so caring. And I described him to someone as being like the person that you want around when you're feeling anxious. Like, whether you were of his faith or not, he was just, by the nature of his vocation, he was just so good at just talking to people and listening. It just means a lot to send a piece of this out to Kit Kumi, the person from Discord who is receiving this outfit. It was nice while I was working to think about that friend. So these pants, the buckles, the closures for this, I didn't have closures that I really liked, and then I found this piece of chain that I had gotten at the local craft store, and I popped out a few of the links and went, these are kind of like frogs.
All right, yeah.
So I'll use these, and then it's tied with a piece of leather cord and some more charm embellishments. So I really like the pants. I was really pleased with how they came out, and the pattern from My Little Doll Story is very good. I just needed to make my own adaptation to it.
How about the top?
The top is all Sari scraps, and they are fair trade, and they are, some of them are over-dyed, and some of them are just as they were when they came to the person who I got them from. And then there's some Italian ribbons, but this is all hand done. I sewed down ribbons by hand. I went back in with embroidery thread in different textures. There's beading on there. There's sequins on there. I had a lot of fun playing with all the different textures and just kind of letting it happen and not worrying too much about, what color I put where or anything like that. I love the way it ended up ruching up in some spots. You can see how I actually made some of this sort of ruffle up and give it a different dimension. This little key necklace, really simple, just a knot with a key on it. I thought it might be fun for Kitkumi to have something to make a story out of. Like, what is that key for? Is she looking for something, or is it a key to some stash that she has somewhere?
I love what you always come up with, though, like, at the bottom of the night, the last minute, you're like, what are the final things she needs? And you're like, I think she needs a hat. And hat and sandals, like, I know I'm going to do it. She needs them both.
Yep, and the hat, I basically just busted out my, intermediate level knitting skills and knit up this hemp ribbon into a loose hat, made it into shape with some more of the Sari ribbons that hang down in the back. And it came together in, minutes, basically, because I did it on really big needles. And she can use that hat as a bag or a basket as well, which is kind of cool. After I made the hat, I braided up this wig and put it on her so that I could shoot the pictures. And it took me just a few minutes to get this the way I wanted it. And I actually kind of want to leave the wig this way because I kind of like it.
I mean, at least it'll be, when you let it out, it'll be nice and wavy.
Yeah, hopefully it'll have some kinky waves to it. It might not, depending on how the synthetic reacted to it. But it's been in braids for a while.
Now, when I took her, I had to figure out, okay, how do I tell, what sort of story is this?
Right.
We knew she was sort of like this desert traveler, so I actually gathered up and made a sand pit on the table in our studio. It was a little insane, but that and a green screen. And I wanted this sort of idea that she's out gathering something. I think you had bought, or I had bought, it was actually for our other stories, these little blue flowers.
Little teeny tiny flowers.
That I stuck into a piece of foam core. I used a needle, poked a bunch of holes, put flowers in each one, and then covered that in sand and made this little story about her gathering up these little blossoms.
And the rest of it was all green screening. It was just the sand pit was the only...
Yes, I had sort of a sand pit and a hill. You don't see up over the edge, but you see then farther into the distance, whatever it is. And I found footage that really matches up well. I'm really quite happy with her. So she is... what I would say is the first of our sort of line of story introductions.
Our new cinematics that you're doing was that she was actually the first one to get done, but it's been kind of hanging out and waiting. We had a lot of stuff that was on actual deadlines with the content with Create Room, etc., that we kind of had to, and then the Barbie collab, which was already had a date.
Yep.
We had to push all that ahead of this. This outfit has been done for a while, and then John did his cinematic, and then it sat again for a while. She's been hanging out in my craft room. In fact, there's actually a picture from the Barbie collab.
She's in the background.
In my Instagram, and you can see her in the background, but she's kind of dark and faded out.
Yep.
But she is there. I was like, oops, I just accidentally posted a picture of Roxy. But we're very happy to have it finished, and I'm so excited for it to be received. And Kitkumi, I hope you really like it, because I really do. I am just super excited about this outfit. It was really fun, and I will probably do this again at some point. Maybe not till next New Year's, but it will get done again.
We'll definitely think about making that a tradition. I mean, you need to do more of this sort of stuff anyway. We've got certainly characters coming up with, the kabuki stories, but I think kind of going wild and just using your imagination, that's really where you shine.
Yeah, I do like working in the artist choice format. I would be willing to do one-offs for people, but it would have to be at my discretion,
Right. I can't even get her to go for what I'm asking for. I was like, I've done sketches of uniforms, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna get some fabric. We'll see what we end up with. If you want to see Sandee go crazy on another project, kind of along these lines, you should totally check out our very first ever collab with Magical Girl Kit Kat Gaming, where Sandee created like a scavenger fairy. It was amazing.
That's all for us. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.